Today we're talking about 4 sales strategies that will completely change your web design business, help you close more sales, land more clients, and explode your business. Let's get started. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is Peyton Smith, and if this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your freelance business, make sure to subscribe below, click the notification button so you know every time I launch a new video. Now, before I dive into this video, I want to give you a quick warning. There are probably some of you out there that are going to get offended or upset by the things that I say in this video, and you're going to leave this video and you're going to tell yourself, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be salesy or I don't want to be pushy. And frankly, those things are just excuses for people that don't want to focus on the sales of their business. And because of that, your business is going to struggle. And so today I'm going to show you how we can be a great persistent salesman and sell our web design services without being pushy, without being salesy, but also I'm going to show you how to do it the right way so that you can close more deals, land more clients, and explode your web design business. Now, there are 4 specific sales strategies that I want to talk about today. These are 4 strategies that have made a huge difference in my web design business. Now, I didn't just open up a sales book and pull random crap out of there to put together this video, but these 4 strategies that I'm going to talk about have come from years of sales experience. And just so you know exactly what I'm talking about, before I started my web design business, I spent almost 5 years selling door-to-door pest control. And while this doesn't sound like the most glamorous job, it's a job that taught me a lot about sales. What we would do in this job is we would wake up and be out in the neighborhood by 9 o'clock, and we would literally knock from 9 in the morning until 9 at night with maybe a 45-minute lunch. And all day I was knocking random doors of strangers trying to convince them that they needed pest control. Now, I will agree with you, selling pest control is much different than selling websites. But at the end of the day, when you're selling someone, the strategies are the same. You need to be able to catch someone's attention, get them to listen to you, get them to agree with you, prevent them from saying no and slamming the door on you or hanging up the phone on you. And eventually you need to get them to trust you and feel comfortable enough to give you their credit card number and pay you. During my time as a door-to-door salesman, I was trained by some of the best salesmen, and I found that the strategies that I learned from them have helped me throughout the life of my business. And so I'm excited to share them with you today. So the first strategy that I want to talk to you about is pushing through the no's. Now, this is the one that hurts the worst to hear because we never want to be pushy. If someone tells us no, we just want to believe that they mean no, right? No means no, and they're not interested, and I'm just going to move on. And the fact of the matter is only about half the time does no actually mean no. And us as human beings from a young age, we were trained to say no to salespeople. We watched our parents say no to salespeople. It's our gut reflex, our instinct to say no before we ever really even think about what we're saying no to. And so it's going to be important for us as web designers when we're meeting with business owners or individuals. We need to understand that yes, there are times when their no could actually mean no, but there are also times when a no means that we haven't explained enough. It means that they don't understand enough, or that we haven't done a good enough job of explaining the benefits for them to see the value. And so when I say pushing through the no's, I don't mean to just bull rush them and ignore that they said no. That's the worst thing that you could do because it's going to make them upset. But what you can do is acknowledge that they said no, and then work around that in a very gentle way. So if I'm pitching someone a new website and they say, I'm just not interested right now, I'm gonna first off acknowledge that by saying, sure, I totally understand. What I'm gonna do after that is I'm gonna follow that up with something very gentle by saying, just so you know what I'm offering, so if you change your mind down the road, with every website, I'm gonna be throwing in this. Now, by working around it that way, they're not gonna feel like they're being pushed. They're gonna not feel like you're being aggressive. They're actually gonna be able to relax even more and listen to you a little bit longer, which is gonna give you the ability to sell them on more benefits. And this is gonna get them even closer to just saying yes. The next strategy that I wanna talk about is something that has made a world of a difference when I'm meeting with prospects, especially in person, and that is getting them to agree. Now, in door-to-door sales, we call this the Jedi mind tricks. And what this is obviously it's gonna be very difficult to get someone to say yes to a sale if they haven't agreed to anything else. And so throughout this sales process, you're gonna wanna do things to get them to agree with you as they start to head nod and smile and interact with you, that's going to release endorphins and they're going to start feeling better about working with you. Now, by getting people to head nod and agree with you throughout the sales process, your chances go way up of getting them to say yes or respond in a positive way when you actually offer your services and you close them. So what I mean by that is oftentimes we want to hop on the phone or get in front of a prospect and we just talk about features and benefits and prices and all these different things. And then at the very end, we just sit there and hope, oh, like I don't even know if they're following me. I don't even know if they're interested. So what we need to do is we need to slow down that process. And what I'm going to do throughout this entire sales conversation is I'm going to look for ways to get them to agree with me. So for example, at the start of the call, I'm going to say, now we all know that websites are one of the best ways to get clients online, right? Now what I did right there is I asked a very obvious question that they have to agree with. I smiled, I head nodded, and then I'm going to wait for them to agree. Now, every time you do this, you're getting an acknowledgement that they're with you, that they're understanding you, that they agree with you. And this is helping them feel like they're part of the conversation. If you can get them to agree like this 5 or 6 or 10 times throughout this conversation, by the end, they're just going to be nodding and agreeing and feeling great. And they're going to give you a big fat yes at the end of the conversation. Now, the third strategy that I want to talk about is asking precise questions. Now, oftentimes we ask a question just to fill the gap or because we don't know what to say. But if we're not careful and we ask questions that are too open-ended, it's going to get a negative response, which is really going to make our whole sales conversation crash and burn. And so we want to think about the questions that we can ask that are going to make people really stop and consider what life would be like with a website that we've designed or with our marketing services. These types of questions that really make them put themselves in that proper situation, the proper mindset to really consider buying are the best types of questions. So an example of a question that I love to ask people is, how big of a difference would it make for your business to be able to have an extra 10, 20, 30 new customers coming from your website for free? Now, this is a question that makes people consider, oh, wow, like that would be really nice. I would be making more money. And it would make it a lot less stressful to wonder where my next customers were coming from or whatever it is. That's a really great question to kind of make people look inside themselves and say, wow, that would be really nice. The fourth and last strategy that I want to talk about is actually my very favorite, and it's something we call RAC, which stands for Resolve, Ace, and Close. This is something that completely changed my sales game when I was on the door selling pest control, and it's made an even bigger difference with my web design business. This is something that no other web designers are doing. And if you can implement this strategy, you are going to see a huge increase in your sales conversations and in the amount of clients that are going to sign up and pay you for your services. Now, Resolve, Ace, Close is the best way to overcome someone's objection or concern and then get them to the point where they're ready to say yes. So the R, or resolve, in this process is the way that we can acknowledge people's concerns and then overcome them and make them feel better about this. So a great example of this is people will always tell me, no, it sounds great to get a website, but I don't think we have the budget right now. So maybe down the road we'd be interested. Now their concern is twofold. It's that they don't feel ready right now and that they feel like it's a little bit too expensive. So what we're gonna do to overcome this is we're gonna say, definitely, I totally understand that things are really expensive when you're running a business. However, I guarantee that if we start 2 months from now, it's still gonna be a great investment. But if we start today, you're gonna have 2 months of extra customers coming from that website. And I guarantee that once we get started, you're gonna wish we started 6 months earlier. Now, this is a great way to put them at ease and help them understand, hey, this is a great investment and I know that I wanna do this. However, this resolve means nothing if we don't throw in an ace. This is the second part of RAC. An ace is something extra or an extra benefit or add-on that you're going to throw in to kind of sweeten the pot for them. So once I've resolved their concern, I'm going to say, but here's what I can do. If we can get you guys started today, I can have your website up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But what I'll do just to make it make sense to you is I'll actually throw in an additional month of SEO absolutely free. That would normally cost $800. But I'm gonna do that just to guarantee that your website is as successful as possible right from day one. Now with that ace, that little extra that I'm throwing in, people are gonna start to think, wow, this makes sense just to start right now because he's gonna throw in some extras. He's gonna help me out here. However, this resolve and this ace mean absolutely nothing if you forget the third part, which is close. Once you get a prospect to this point, they're gonna be feeling positively about working with you. They're gonna be ready to hire you. But if you don't close them, they're gonna sit on it, they're gonna think on it, and they're not gonna have the courage to just say yes. So the thing you need to remember is never wait for a prospect to say yes. You need to close them and give them the opportunity to agree and say yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw in my ace. I'm gonna say, I'll give you an extra month of SEO just to make sure that your website is as successful as possible. Does that sound fair? Now this close of does that sound fair is literally my favorite close because nobody's gonna be able to disagree with the fact that this sounds really fair. So if you can get someone on this very soft close to agree that it sounds fair, then you're gonna be able to move to a little bit harder close where you're gonna say, great, which email would you like me to send that agreement to? By doing this, you have gotten them to verbally agree that they're interested and that it sounds fair. And now by asking them for their email, if they give it to you, that is an acknowledgement that they're ready to move forward. Now this process works like a charm, but people aren't gonna say yes every single time, obviously. But the beauty of using this resolve ace close process is if at the end of it, they come up with another concern, that just gives you another opportunity to resolve that concern, throw in another additional bonus, and then close them again. Now, there have been times with prospects where I've gone through this process 2, 3, 4 times, and at the very end, they don't feel like you're being pushy. Instead, they feel like they're getting way more out of you than they would have originally, but they also feel like you've acknowledged their concerns and you've overcome them and tried to make this deal make sense for them. By doing this, I guarantee your prospects are going to respect you more. You're gonna stand out. And the best part is you don't have to be pushy. You can be friendly throughout this whole process. Never talk through them or over them. Just work with them through this process of resolving their concerns and getting them to a point where they feel comfortable to say yes. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm super excited to see you implement these strategies into your own business. If you have any questions about the different closes that I like to use or anything throughout my sales process, or if you'd like to know what aces I throw in as add-ons to get clients to agree to projects, feel free to comment down below and I'll be quick to answer. But thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.